Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. 2023 is going to be a great year. I'm going to make it the year that I improve the most as a software engineer. There are a bunch of new languages, libraries, practices, and other technologies I want to learn this year. Here are some of them and a bit about how I'm going to learn them this year. I want to start making mobile apps, ideally for both Android and iOS. I don't want to learn and write separate code for both of them, and I already know React fairly well, so I'm going to use React Native to develop them. To learn, I'm just going to start with a simple app, something like a countdown app or something like that. And I also have no idea how the deployment process works for either Android or iOS, so I'm going to have to learn that as well. Once I get one under my belt, I'm just going to keep developing apps so I can keep learning. I like the Unnecessary Inventions YouTube channel, and I have an idea for a Unnecessary Apps video series. So I need to learn React Native so I can just start creating those apps. So if that sounds interesting to you, stick around so you can see some useless apps in the future. I have such a basic understanding of DevOps, and I really need to fix that. The purpose of DevOps is to automate and optimize the development and deployment of software. At least that's how I kind of understand it. If I'm going to develop a bunch of software this year, I'm going to need to organize and optimize my process. I see the appeal of DevOps because it's so tedious to build and deploy every time I push changes. I plan to create some jobs to automate the build and deployment process every time I push or merge code. Also, once I have tests implemented, I plan on automating those as well. These jobs will get me started, but the scope of my projects really won't be enough for me to fully understand DevOps, so I will need to do more research to learn more about best practices. I want to improve the management of my websites. I currently have them hosted on a laptop that's right behind me. It's running Ubuntu, it works, but the sites are basically getting no traffic, and I don't think it would hold up to much of an attack at the moment. So I want to improve the security of my current server, and then maybe look into AWS or some other cloud platform to host a future project. If I'm being honest, the main reason that I haven't used AWS is because I'm terrified of accidentally running up a huge tab. Also, I might start a blog on my portfolio site, so I need to learn more about search engine optimization so I can drive traffic to my blog. I'm comfortable with JavaScript, but I've seen a lot of people using TypeScript, and I really want to pick it up. I think TypeScript is going to help me write better code because it's going to force me to worry about type safety. I also think it's just going to help me produce more readable and maintainable code. Should be pretty easy for me to find opportunities to learn TypeScript. I think all of my personal projects are written with React and Node, so I can just use TypeScript instead of JavaScript in those scenarios. I'll probably start with just a basic CRUD app to get the basics down, and then move on to other projects and Google questions as they come up. I have noticed that there seems to be a lot of frustration with TypeScript, so I expect this to be a long and frustrating process. But that's the point of writing code, right? To get mad? I really need to be better at these. The first thing I think about when I hear design patterns is an interview question. Up until now, my knowledge about design patterns has been just enough so I can include it in an answer to a question. But this year I'm committed to fully understanding a few design patterns. I want to be able to describe them, explain how they might be beneficial, what kind of projects they might be good for, and I want to even use one for the design process in one of my new projects, and also be able to answer questions. I want to improve as a web developer. I'm just terrible at CSS. I have a very fundamental knowledge of what HTML elements I should be using, and I don't think I always use the best practices. There are also some libraries that I want to start using this year. I need to pick up the React testing library, and I'd like to get some experience with a store like Redux. The only way I'm going to improve as a web developer and a software developer in general is to just keep doing projects, and that's my plan for this year. Lots of projects. A lot. Finally, if I have some more time this year, I'd like to learn more about Go. I use it at my job, and if I'm being honest, I'm not that great with it. I don't know it well enough to fully understand why it's better than some of the other options, and I'd really like to change that. Maybe I'll try using it for an API instead of Node. So that's how I plan on spending my 2023 as a software engineer. Look out for more videos this year so you can watch my progress. I really hope you stick around to see how I do. Thanks for watching. Later.